Hello, today I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. So yeah, I'll just dive straight into it. Question 1 is, why did you start this channel? I kind of explained a little bit of that in my first video, I think. I've been watching Booktube for a long time and I really enjoy all the conversations you get to have with people about books and recommending books and finding out about books you've never even heard of or never thought you'd like. And I really like the community and the sharing that goes on between people, and just everyone's so nice and it's really cool to meet nice people. I don't have a lot of friends in real life who I can talk to. I don't have very many friends in real life that I can talk to about books, or not like all the time, because sometimes I just want to ramble constantly about a book for ages, and my poor flatmate has to deal with that when, yeah, maybe I should talk to a camera instead. Question 2 is, what is some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I don't really know. Fun, I'm hoping my outtakes are a bit fun. I didn't even mean to put them on the videos until it just became a thing. So my friends like it. I don't know if other people like it. It might get boring. I don't know, because I kind of do the same things over and over, because I ramble and just so yeah. Unique, I'm not sure. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. Question 3 is, what are you most excited for about this channel? Well, meeting people, or having conversations with people about books, yay. And yeah, just being part of a community, and I like talking to people about books. Yeah. Question 4. Oh yeah, I am on question 4, aren't I? It's question 4. Question 4 is, why do you love reading? I don't know, I've always loved reading. I have a pretty good memory for my very early childhood, so I can actually remember reading before I could read, if that makes sense, like picture books and things. And I think I kind of taught myself to read, so books have just always been there and important, and I just love imagining things and disappearing off to other lands and fantasy and magic and all sorts of stuff. I've always loved books and stories, and I think for a while I wasn't really ever interested in being a writer and such, but I'd like create stories in my head anyway, and play them as like imaginary games with friends and things at school, or out in the woods. We had a little area we called the Dell that was really cool, and we did all sorts of crazy fun games in there that maybe if I'd have been more confident as a child about writing, I would have written them. I don't know. But yeah, so I think my love of reading is kind of rooted in just my love of stories, which is also why I write. And yeah, it's just I love books. Books are great. I'll stop rambling on that one. Question 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? I'm one of the Harry Potter generation. I remember my mum buying that book when I was about 6 years old, because somebody at school was talking about it, and I just wanted to read it. I was like, I want this book. Mum was like, she wasn't sure it was age appropriate, because I was still technically reading kind of younger kid stuff. So she read it first. So I read the first one when I was 6, and that, yeah, there were books that I read beforehand, but Harry Potter was a big drive in my complete obsession with reading as a kid. I don't think I ever loved a book that much, ever, and still now it's like this one piece of my heart, and I haven't actually reread them since the 7th book came out, so I'm planning to this summer reread all of them, which I think will be really interesting, because the last time I read all of them I was a child, and now I'm nearly 24. No, I'm nearly 25. I don't even know my own age. There we go. I'm nearly 25. And I think it'd be really strange to reread Harry as me being older than him. I'm an adult, so looking back, and he's still a child at the end, really, 17. I was younger than him when I finished that series, so I just think it'd be really interesting. I'm hoping it will hold the same kind of magic for me, and everybody else who reads it. My flatmate, she is like obsessed with Harry Potter. She's got like all the different cover designs and everything, and it's great. And she's doing reread as well, so I'm kind of joining her on that, but I'm a little bit late, so I might have to wait until the summer, because those books are really heavy to carry around when you get into the later ones. So yeah. But before Harry Potter, there were other books, notably The Secret of Platform 13 by Ava Ibbotson. That was just a really magical, wonderful story to me. I loved it, and I loved the whole twist. I don't know if anybody's read it. I would love to kind of over it with you. It'd be great. And there was this book at primary school, the first book I remember like properly being obsessed over, to the point where I was pretending to be the main character, who was also a boy. So I remember two of my friends, Henny and Susie, and Susie was like, "But you can't be Tim, he's a boy, you've got to be Timothy, who's a girl." And I was like, "But Timothy's a boy's name as well." I was so confused, but I loved it. And this book was called Tim to the Lighthouse by Edward Arddizonne. I do actually have it. Oh, this thing is not comfy. Oh, look at that again. Okay. Oh, there was this one. I forgot about this one. Hey. So, fun fact, because, I randomly found it. This isn't the book I was intending to find, but it was inside the cover of the other one. This was one of the first books that I remember being able to read, which is funny, because it's French. When I was 2.5, my family went on a holiday to France. My grandparents lived there, but we were going for a wedding, and we stayed with them. And I remember reading this tirelessly, learning French at 2 years old. And bizarrely, I remember being in a daycare or something, and talking to the bridesmaid at the wedding, who were horrible, and I could understand everything. But I figured they must have been speaking French, but I had no idea. So maybe I was fluent in French at 2 years old. I don't know. But yeah, this was a book. But anyway, back to the book I was actually supposed to be talking about. This book, I think, was one of my foundation books in why I'm in love with reading. It's called Tim to the Lighthouse by Edward Arddizonne. It's quite old, I think. The copy in my school was really old. I remember it having a red cover though, but it didn't have any words on the front, so it must have been like hardback on its own. It's got like beautiful illustrations. It's so nice. And it was like proper adventure, and like Tim, like, there was a whole series of them. I've only got 2 of them, I think. But like, oh, this little boy who must be like 5. I don't know, he seemed really old to me when I was 5. But yeah. He goes and has all these adventures with the lighthouse keeper, and there's storms and whales and all sorts of stuff, and it was great, and I loved it. What did I do with my notebook? Okay, question... Which one am I on? Question 6. What questions would you ask favourite booktubers? Oh, that's a scary one. I think I would ramble. I'm not very good at meeting people. And... sentences. Yeah, so I don't know how a question would work. But there's so many things I want to ask people. Jen Campbell. She's very popular on Booktube. I probably don't need to say that, but she's awesome. And I think I would cry if I met her. But I would love to ask her, like, so many things. I can't think of anything specific right now, because my brain's just gone. So, yeah, I'll skip that one. I'm sorry. Question 7. What challenges starting a booktube channel do you think will be the hardest to overcome? My terror of people is an obvious one, or an obvious one to me. So I've got a core group of writery bookish friends online. Some of them are real life friends as well, because I've met them, but mostly they are on the other side of the world, which is sad. But I can talk to them about books like all the time, and so I don't mind them seeing my videos, but I haven't been advertising it anywhere else. So I don't know, maybe a big step might be to post it on Facebook, but I'd be like, nah. So I think my biggest thing to overcome is maybe the whole subscriber thing. Do I want people to subscribe or do I not want people to subscribe? I don't know. I'm torn between this whole, I just want to hide my rambles away, or do I want to share them? I don't know. So, thank you for watching and not judging me, unless you do judge me. But in a good way, that's fine. So yeah, shyness, I think, maybe. And, yeah. Next question. When did you start reading? When? Like, I don't know. As soon as I had a book? I don't know. I honestly do not remember learning to read. It was just kind of like, I couldn't and then I could. I don't know. Books just were always there. I always had books. I think I had quite a good childhood in terms of books. They were just always there. It's great. Number 9. Where do you read? Where do I read? On my bed, right there. But only if it's a good book or a horrible book. I tend to read good books really slowly because I want to like savour them, and awful books I want to read really quickly so then I could just not be reading them anymore. But I don't actually read at home as much as I read other places. So most of my reading I actually do on the train. I commute into Exeter every day for work. So it's like a 20-25 minute train journey. So I just read away on there. It's great. So I got that 2 times a day. I sometimes also read on my breaks at work. So I do a lot of reading. I definitely read every day. But it's more of a kind of routine. I didn't really purposefully create it. It just kind of happened because trains are really boring. Next question. That's a good point. What kind of books do you like to read? Wow, that's a big question. I like a lot. I like everything. I'm just like... so children's fiction. Most of those books there are children's fiction. I love children's fiction. It's like... just everything. The scope in children's fiction is incredible. I love children's fiction. Middle grade, fantasy, everything. It's really, really fun. I basically never grew up. Picture books, yes. Every middle grade, yes. Old classics. See, I don't actually read a lot of classics, but children's classics, I love. They're great. Yes. I also like contemporary, depending, I don't know, I kind of flow with romance occasionally, just as a kind of guilty pleasure, maybe. I like fantasy, but it's kind of specific kind of fantasy. I'm a very picky person. At the moment I'm reading N.K. Jemisin's books, and they are wonderfully amazing. So I really recommend them. I also like general fiction, historical fiction, especially historical fiction set during World War I and World War II, according to my Goodreads statness thing that I did in January. Yeah, it was really interesting. I didn't realise I liked it so much until I was like, whoa, I read a lot of books set during those times then. So it has its own shelf on Goodreads now. Yay! I also like non-fiction, so I like travel fiction. Travel fiction isn't a thing. I like travel writing, nature writing, science stuff. I read atlases, because atlases, they're really pretty. I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like horror, and I don't like aliens. So that whole part of sci-fi with aliens, nope, you're gone. I don't like you. Paranormal, don't like paranormal. Sorry, that whole everything to do with that, no thank you. I don't know what else I like. That's it. That was question 10. That was question 10. I'm finished. Yay! So I hope some of my answers there have interested you too. So that's all from me. I hope that was interesting for you guys. I don't know. I'm looking forward to chatting with people and finding out if you want to tell me some of your answers to these questions. I'd love to talk with you, and it's really cool. And if you've read any of the books that I've mentioned, that would also be really, really cool to talk about with you. So I'm gonna go now. Bye. Happy reading. Hello, and yeah. I'm not even looking at the camera. Okay, because Mum, yeah. I can't find it. What? Okay, Harry Potter, that's what I was talking about. Yes, that was. Where are you? Okay, that question is done. That was awful. Hello, and